You threw away 29 years for a man who doesn't love you. Now watch me erase you from my life. My name is Benjamin Walsh. I'm 58 years old. I left that note for my cheating wife in our empty house while I was already 400 miles away. Let me tell you how Catherine screwed up our marriage and how I made sure she lost everything. I was doing laundry on a Tuesday night. Catherine's jacket fell on the floor and a hotel key card slipped out. Room 314, Grandview Inn. She told me she went to see her college friend Sarah that weekend. Said she needed girl time. But that key card said different. Her scarf smelled like some expensive cologne too. Not mine. Been married to Catherine for 29 years. Met her in 1995 at Barnes & Noble. She was reading philosophy books. I was looking at business stuff. She was into art and dreams. I was into numbers and making money. I built everything for us. $450,000 house on Maple Street. Spent $25,000 turning the garage into an art studio for her. $8,000 every year on trips to Europe so she could paint in museums. I put my engineering business plans on hold so she could chase her art career. For 29 years, I thought that was what marriage was about. If you like stories about cheating wives getting what they deserve, hit that like button and subscribe right now. I post new stories every day and they keep getting crazier. The signs started months before I found that key card. Catherine started working late 3 nights a week. Started hiding her phone when I walked in the room. Started whispering with our daughter Sophie behind closed doors. When I walked into the kitchen, they'd stop talking. Sophie would look guilty and say something about helping mom with gallery stuff. I thought maybe she was planning something for our 30th anniversary. I was right. Just not what I expected. That keycard changed everything. But I didn't say anything right away. My hands were shaking. Felt like someone was sitting on my chest. Instead, I acted normal. Made her coffee the next morning at 6:30 like always. Colombian coffee, 2 sugars, splash of cream. Told her she looked nice in that blue dress. She did look nice, damn it. She smiled at me like nothing was wrong. Kissed my cheek and said, "Love you, honey," like she meant it. That's when you know a man is done. He gets quiet. Real quiet. Like before a storm hits. I called my buddy Derek, who works at the Grandview Inn. We've known each other since high school. Play poker every Thursday for 15 years. "Hey, Derek," I said, keeping my voice normal. "Weird question. My sister thinks she left earrings in room 314. Was Catherine Walsh registered there last weekend?" Long pause. I could hear him typing. Saturday night to Sunday morning. 2 people checked in, 2 people checked out. My stomach dropped. 2 people? Male and female. Checked in 8:47 p.m. Saturday. Checked out 11:23 a.m. Sunday. I hung up. Sat there for 10 minutes staring at nothing. I didn't go home that night. Sat in my Honda Civic for 4 hours in the Denny's parking lot on Route 9. Engine off. Windows down. Just sitting there thinking about every kiss that meant nothing. Every "I love you" that was bullshit. Every time she came home happy and said she was inspired by her art friends. And the worst part, Sophie knew. When I called her Saturday night around 9 p.m., she said mom was tired from the reunion and needed space. I heard the lie in her voice. Both of them knew. Both of them lied to me for months. Something changed in me that night. Not angry, something colder. Like watching water freeze. You can see it happening, but you can't stop it. Catherine wasn't just cheating. She was planning to leave. Take half my money. Half my house. Half my life. After 29 years of me working 60-hour weeks so she could do her art. After I paid for her supplies, her studio, her shows that never made any money. I wasn't going to let that happen. I didn't yell at her. Didn't ask for explanations. Didn't throw things or make a scene. Arguments give people closure. Catherine didn't deserve closure. Instead, I watched her. Studied her like a work problem. When she left for book club on Tuesday nights, I followed her. Took pictures of the parking lot, the cars, license plates. Started keeping notes in a book I hid in my toolbox. Times, dates, what changed. What she wore when she left versus when she came back. Did she shower right when she got home? Did she seem different? Happier? Guilty? Tuesday, October 3rd, left 7:15 p.m. in black dress. Came home 10:45 p.m., same dress but hair messed up. Showered right away. Thursday, October 5th, said she was working late at the gallery. I called her office at 8 p.m., voicemail said they closed at 6 p.m. Saturday, October 7th, said she was at book club at Janet's house. Janet called our house at 4 p.m. asking if Catherine wanted to join book club next month. Catherine wasn't home to take the call. She thought I was just busy with work. Thought my quietness meant I didn't notice anything. But I was building a case. Every lie, every story that didn't add up. Every piece of proof. The big moment came when I found the second phone, hidden in her makeup drawer under old lipstick and broken stuff. Cheap Samsung phone. $30 at Walmart. No password. That was her mistake. The messages between her and someone named Daniel made me sick. Daniel Cross. I looked him up online. 42 years old. Divorced photographer. Lives downtown. No kids. Just gym pictures and artsy black and white photos on his Instagram. Daniel, last night was amazing. I can still smell your perfume on my shirt. Catherine, I keep thinking about your hands. When can I see you again? Daniel, Friday at the cabin? I'll bring wine. Catherine, I'll tell Ben I'm helping Sophie with wedding planning. The shirtless photo he sent was dated 3 days ago, October 10th. Same night, she said she was helping Sophie address wedding invitations until 11 p.m. I called Sophie. How did the addressing go last night? Long pause. What addressing? Mom said she was helping you with wedding invitations. Another pause. We finished early. Around 8. Another lie. They weren't even getting their stories straight anymore. But here's what Catherine and Daniel didn't know. I wasn't just some broken husband who'd disappear quietly. I'm an engineer. I've spent 30 years fixing complex problems. And they just became my biggest problem to fix. So I started my own plan. Saturday morning over breakfast, I told Catherine I was thinking about retiring early. Maybe selling my consulting business to my partner Rick for $400,000. Her eyes lit up like Christmas morning. She put down her coffee cup and stared at me. Really? You'd want to retire at 58? Why not? House is paid off. Your art career is going good. We could travel more. Maybe buy that cabin in Vermont you always wanted. She hugged me tight. Tighter than she had in years. First real emotion I'd seen from her in months. I almost laughed. She thought she was about to get $200,000 when I sold the business. Plus half the house value, another $225,000. Plus half my 401k, $90,000. Plus alimony for life since she hadn't worked a real job in 15 years. She had it all figured out. Probably already spent the money in her head. Not happening. Monday morning I called my lawyer, Mark Stevens. We went to college together. Told him everything. Showed him the photos from Derek, the messages from the phone, the lies about where she was. With this proof, Mark said, she gets nothing. Cheating cancels any claim to alimony in this state. Property gets tricky, but since the house and business are in your name and you can prove she was planning to leave, she'll walk away with basically nothing. That made me smile for the first time in weeks. I took Sophie to lunch at Applebee's on Wednesday. Ordered the same thing we always got when she was a kid. Chicken tenders for her, burger for me. Watched her face when I brought up her mom. Mom seems happy lately, I said, eating a fry. Yeah, she said, not looking up from her phone. She's been working on new art projects. Funny. I thought she finished her landscape series 3 months ago. What's the new project? Sophie went white. Put her phone down. Started tearing her napkin into little pieces. Experimental stuff. Photography, maybe. Photography? Since when does Mom do photography? I leaned forward, made my voice quieter. You're lying to me, Sophie. Silence. Her hands stopped moving. Then barely loud enough to hear, Dad, how long have you known? 2 weeks. Did you help them plan their meetings? I didn't help them meet. I swear. When she asked me to cover for her, I did. She said she felt invisible in her marriage. Like you didn't see her anymore. Like you were just roommates. That hurt worse than the cheating. My own daughter, the kid I taught to ride a bike. Took to soccer practice 200 times. Paid $40,000 for her college at State. Walked her down the aisle at her wedding 6 months ago. And she helped destroy our family. I built everything for you too, I said. This house, so you could have your own room and bathroom. Your college money, so you wouldn't have student loans. Mom's art studio, so she could follow her dreams. This is what I get. I'm sorry, Dad. I really am. No, you're not. You're sorry you got caught in the middle. You're sorry it's awkward now. But you're not sorry for lying to me for months. I threw 25 on the table and stood up. Don't come to the house for a while. I need space to figure things out. Dad, please go home to your husband, Sophie. Try being the kind of wife you watched your mother become. See how that works out for you. But I wasn't done building my case. Not even close. Back home, I got to work. Real work. Met with Mark again. Gave him copies of everything. Hotel records Derek got for me. Screenshots of the text messages. Photos of Catherine and Daniel I'd started taking with a telephoto lens. I took $50,000 out of stocks Catherine didn't know about. Old investments from before we were married. Moved the money to a new account at a different bank. Changed our joint checking account so both of us had to sign for any withdrawal over $500. Updated the house deed to include a part about cheating, canceling property rights. But I wasn't done. Mark recommended a private investigator, Robert Sterling, 25 years experience. Former cop. Cost me $200 a day plus expenses. I need everything, I told him. Photos, video, financial records, background check. Everything. Sterling was worth every penny. Within a week, he had Daniel's whole life mapped out. Divorced 2 years ago. Ex-wife filed a restraining order after he threatened her. $15,000 behind on taxes. $8,000 are credit card debt. History with married women. At least 3 others in the past 18 months. All ended badly. He didn't love Catherine. She was just convenient. A lonely housewife with money and low self-esteem. Thursday, Sterling handed me a manila envelope. You're not going to like this, he said. Photos of Catherine and Daniel at Sunset Point. The scenic overlook 20 minutes outside town. Her car parked next to his BMW. Them kissing against a tree. Her hands in his hair. His hands under her sweater. Both of them laughing like teenagers. Timestamp 2:47 p.m., October 18th. Same day she told me she was grocery shopping and running errands. I stared at that photo for 20 minutes. Then I said out loud to my empty kitchen, enjoy it while you can. Because her little fantasy was about to become hell. But what I found out about Daniel made everything worse. Sterling dug deep into his background. The guy was a predator, professional charmer. His ex-wife's restraining order mentioned emotional manipulation and financial abuse. He convinced her to take out a $20,000 loan for his photography equipment. Disappeared with the money and equipment 3 months later. He'd done it before. Sarah Martinez, married woman 45, had an affair with Daniel for 4 months. He talked her into leaving her husband. She filed for divorce, lost half her stuff. Daniel dumped her 2 weeks after her divorce was final. Jennifer Walsh, no relation, just same last name. Married 20 years, 2 kids. Daniel seduced her at a photography workshop. She left her family for him. He strung her along for 6 months, then disappeared when she ran out of money to spend on him. Catherine was just the latest victim. She fell for it like a stupid teenager. But this wasn't high school. This was real life with real consequences. And I was about to teach both of them exactly what those consequences looked like. Catherine knew something was wrong the second she walked through the front door. It was Friday night, 11:47 p.m. Same time she always came home from her gallery committee meetings. But the house felt different. Empty. Her heels clicked on bare hardwood floors. I'd taken out all the rugs that morning. All the furniture was gone. No couch. No coffee table. No bookshelves. No family photos on the walls. No wedding picture on the mantel. She called my name. Benjamin? Benjamin! Her voice echoed in the empty rooms. Nothing. She walked through each room. Living room? Empty. Dining room? Empty. Even took the chandelier. Kitchen had nothing but the stove and refrigerator. Couldn't take those. They were built in. Then she saw it. A white envelope on the kitchen counter where the microwave used to be. Her name written in my handwriting. Same handwriting that wrote her love letters in college. Inside, you threw away 29 years for a man who doesn't love you. Now watch me erase you from my life. I was already 400 miles away. Motel 6 in Richmond, Virginia. Room 112. $40 a night. Had a burner phone, $15,000 cash, and a flash drive with everything Sterling found. Registered under the name Robert Hayes. Paid for a week in advance. But taking out furniture was just step 1 of my plan. Step 2 was about to destroy her completely. First hit was the divorce papers. Mark filed them Monday morning at 9 a.m. sharp. Adultery with photo proof. Financial cheating. No settlement. No alimony. Catherine would walk away with the clothes on her back and whatever was in her personal checking account, about $20,400. Second hit was her art career. The Meridian Gallery, where she'd been showing her paintings for 8 months, got an anonymous package on Tuesday. Security footage from the hotel Derek provided. Screenshots of her romantic texts with Daniel. Photos from Sterling. A polite note. Is this the kind of artist you want representing your gallery? They called her at 3:15 p.m. Told her they were restructuring and wouldn't be continuing with her work. Translation. Get lost. Third hit was social. I sent copies of everything to her art group friends. The Wednesday wine and paint ladies. Her book club. Her yoga class. Word spreads fast in our suburban neighborhood. By Thursday, 3 different neighbors had called to ask if Catherine and I were having problems. But Catherine didn't cheat on me alone. Sophie helped, lied for her, covered for her, made me look like a fool. So Sophie needed to pay too. Her husband Michael was a good guy. Met him 3 years ago when they started dating. Accountant. Conservative. Goes to church every Sunday. Loves Sophie completely. Treats her like a princess. Had no idea his wife helped her mother cheat. I met him at Starbucks on Wednesday morning. Ordered 2 black coffees. Sat in the corner booth where nobody could hear us. I need to show you something, I said, sliding the flash drive across the table. Watch this alone. Then ask Sophie how long she's been helping her mother destroy our family. He picked up the drive like it might explode. What is this? Evidence. Your wife has been lying to both of us. I left him sitting there. Didn't wait for questions. This wasn't about making friends. This was about truth. About consequences. 3 days later, Catherine tracked me down. Showed up at the motel like a ghost. Don't know how she found me. Probably hired her own investigator. She looked terrible. Lost maybe 15 pounds. Hair unwashed. No makeup. Wearing the same jeans and sweater she'd had on 3 days earlier. Benjamin, please, she begged through the door. We need to talk. I opened the door but didn't let her in. You want to talk now? Now that your life is falling apart? It was one mistake. It was 6 months. With our daughter covering for you. While I worked 60-hour weeks to pay for your art supplies and studio rent. She started crying. Real tears this time. Not the fake ones she used when she wanted something. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just felt so lonely. So invisible. Like we were just strangers living in the same house. Then you should have talked to me. Not jumped into bed with some photographer who's been scamming married women for years. Her face went white. What do you mean? I know about Sarah Martinez, Jennifer Walsh, the other women he's done this to. You're not special, Catherine. You're just convenient. She reached for me. I stepped back. You picked him, I said. Now go build a life with a man who's already planning to dump you for the next lonely housewife with money. I walked inside and locked the door. Let her cry in the parking lot. But here's what really gets me about justice. It's not just what happens to the guilty people. It's watching them realize they brought it all on themselves. Daniel thought he was untouchable. Good-looking guy. Drove a $45,000 BMW. Smooth talker. Probably told Catherine he was a successful artist making good money. Reality was different. He lived in a $200 a month studio apartment. Behind on rent 3 months. Car payments 2 months late. He made money seducing married women and getting them to pay for things. Dinners, hotels, trips, equipment for his photography business that barely existed. Catherine had been paying for their whole affair without knowing it. Every time they went out, she paid. I'll get this one, honey. You can get the next one. There was never a next one. His mistake was thinking I was just some broken husband who'd disappear quietly. Thinking he could destroy my family and move on to the next one without consequences. I spent 2 weeks learning his schedule. Tuesday nights, 24-hour fitness on Oak Street. 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. every week like clockwork. Same parking spot in the back lot under the broken street light. November 15th, 10:45 p.m. Daniel walked out of the gym right on schedule. Towel around his neck. Earbuds in. Looking at his phone. Probably checking dating apps. Heading to his BMW in the back corner of the lot. That's when I made my move. I'd been sitting in my rental car for 45 minutes. Stolen license plates I'd swapped out 2 hours earlier. Ski mask. Leather gloves. Tire iron from my toolbox. Came up behind him quiet. He didn't hear me until the last second. Tire iron to his left kneecap first. Heard it crack like a branch. He went down screaming, phone flying across the parking lot. Then his ribs, 3 quick hits while he was on the ground. Felt at least 2 of them break. Then his jaw while he was trying to crawl away. Blood everywhere. All over the parking lot. All over his gym clothes. He tried to say something. Probably begging. I couldn't understand him through the blood and broken teeth. You destroyed my family, I said, breathing hard. Thought I'd just disappear. Thought there wouldn't be consequences. This is what happens when you touch what's not yours. One more hit to his shoulder for good measure. Heard that crack too. Then I was gone. Threw the tire iron in a dumpster 5 miles away. Drove the rental car to long-term parking at the airport. Took a cab back to my real car. Was home watching TV by midnight. Left his phone buzzing with Catherine's name on the screen. Let her figure out what happened when the ambulance calls came. Daniel's attack made the local news for 3 days. Local photographer brutally assaulted outside gym. Police had no suspects. No witnesses. Security cameras in that part of the lot had been broken for 6 months. His injuries were worse than I'd planned. Shattered kneecap needed 2 surgeries. 3 broken ribs. Broken jaw wired shut for 10 weeks. Dislocated shoulder. Plastic surgery on his face couldn't fix everything. He'd always have a scar across his left cheek. Always walk with a limp. He stopped taking photos. Stopped going to jazz clubs. Moved back in with his parents in Ohio 3 months later. Over the next 6 months, I watched Catherine's world fall apart in slow motion. Lost the gallery showing. Lost her art group friends. Lost her book club when the other women decided she was too much drama. Sophie's marriage ended when Michael confronted her with the truth about helping her mother cheat. He filed for divorce 2 weeks before their first anniversary. She lost the $12,000 they'd spent on the wedding. Catherine tried to find Daniel after the attack. Called his phone for weeks. Went to his apartment building. The landlord told her he'd moved out in the middle of the night. Left no forwarding address. She moved into a studio apartment near the railroad tracks. $600 a month. Tried to keep painting but couldn't sell anything. Her inspiration was gone. Started working part-time at a craft store for $11 an hour. First real job she'd had in 15 years. She called me every month for the first year. Left voicemails that started angry and became desperate. Sent emails I never opened. Tried to send letters to my motel. I'd already moved on. Meanwhile, I found peace in a small coastal town in Maine. Population 3,200. New identity, William Hayes. Cost me $5,000 for good fake documents. Birth certificate, social security card, driver's license, passport. Bought a cottage with cash. $85,000. Right on the water. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, fireplace. Perfect for one person who wants to be left alone. Grew a beard. Let my hair go gray. Lost 30 pounds. Started wearing flannel shirts and work boots instead of business suits. Learned woodworking from YouTube videos. Built cabinets and bookcases I sold at the farmer's market on Saturdays. Made enough to live on. $400, $500 a week. Sometimes I'd sit by the ocean with a beer and try to remember what Catherine's laugh used to sound like. Before it was fake. Before it was for someone else. 3 years after I disappeared, someone knocked on my door on a Tuesday evening in October. Same month I'd found the hotel keycard. I knew who it was before I opened it. Catherine. Older now. 50 years old, but looked 60. Thinner than I'd ever seen her. Gray hair she wasn't bothering to dye anymore. Cheap clothes from Walmart instead of the boutique stuff she used to buy. I found you, she whispered. You weren't supposed to, I said, not opening the screen door. I know. I hired someone. Cost me $2,000 I didn't have. But I had to see you one last time. We stood there quiet, waves crashing on the rocks behind her, seagulls calling overhead. I lost everything, she said. I know you don't care anymore, but I did. My career, my friends. Sophie barely talks to me. Michael divorced her after you showed him what I did. Daniel disappeared after someone attacked him. He's not the same person. Brain injury from the beating. Can barely speak. I leaned against the door frame. Didn't invite her in. You came 800 miles to tell me you're broken? I already knew that 3 years ago. No, she said, wiping her eyes with a tissue. I came to say I'm sorry. Not because I think it fixes anything, because I needed you to know it wasn't about him. It was about me feeling invisible in my own life. Like I didn't matter. I nodded slowly. Then you should have talked to me, gone to counseling, figured out how to fix our marriage, not destroyed it. She looked down at her feet. I know that now. Long quiet, wind blowing through the pine trees. Somewhere a dog was barking. Do you ever miss us? I asked. Miss what we had before you threw it away? Her voice broke completely. Every single day, every hour, I dream about you, about our house, about Sunday mornings when we'd read the paper in bed, about how you used to bring me coffee in the studio when I was painting. Good, I said. Then you understand what you destroyed. Do you? Do you miss it too? I looked at her for a long time. This woman I'd loved for 29 years. Built a life with. Planned to grow old with. I miss who you used to be, I said finally. Before you became someone who could lie to my face for 6 months. More quiet. Sophie had a baby, she said. She's beautiful. Red hair like mine used to be. She asks about her grandfather sometimes. That hit me harder than I expected. Don't. I'm not asking you to come back. I know that's impossible. I just thought you should know. I felt something crack inside my chest. You don't get to use my granddaughter to manipulate me. You lost that right. She nodded, started crying harder. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all of it. Then I asked the question I'd been wondering about for 3 years. Was it worth it? Was 6 months with him worth destroying 29 years with me? She looked up at me with red, swollen eyes. God, no. It was the biggest mistake of my life. I knew it after the first month, but I was in too deep. Too many lies. I didn't know how to stop. You could have stopped any time. You could have told me the truth. I was scared you'd leave me. So instead you made sure I'd leave you. She nodded, sobbing now. I'm so stupid. I'm so fucking stupid. I'd never heard her curse before. In 29 years of marriage. Yes, I said. You are. I stepped back inside and started to close the door. Benjamin, wait. I stopped. Do you think, someday, could you ever forgive me? I looked at her one last time. This stranger wearing my wife's face. No, I said. Some things can't be forgiven. Some things can't be fixed. Then I closed the door and locked it. I watched through this window as she stood on my porch for 10 more minutes. Then walked to her car, a 15-year-old Honda with rust on the door panels. Drove away slowly, like she was hoping I'd change my mind and run after her. I didn't. That was 2 years ago. The calls stopped after that. The emails stopped. No more attempts to find me. But Sophie did send one last thing. A photo in the mail with no return address. A little girl with copper-colored curls sitting on a tire swing. Big green eyes like mine. Holding a wooden toy horse I probably would have made for her if things were different. On the back, someone had written Emma, age 4 in Sophie's handwriting. I stared at that photo for an hour, then put it in my desk drawer. Not because I was ready to forgive. Not because I wanted contact. But because that little girl didn't do anything wrong. She was innocent in all this. Maybe someday when she's older, I'll reach out. Send her a birthday card. A Christmas present. Maybe not. But I know this much. I'm not the man who got cheated on anymore. I'm not the man who spent 29 years building something just to watch it get destroyed. I'm the man who survived it. Who got his revenge. Who found peace in the quiet. And some nights when the waves are loud and the stars are bright over the Maine coast, I sit on my porch with a beer and think about how different things could have been. If she'd just talked to me instead of sleeping with a photographer. If she'd gone to counseling instead of lying for 6 months. If she'd remembered that actions have consequences. But mostly I don't think about it anymore. Mostly I just listen to the waves and work on my furniture and live the quiet life I built from the ashes of my old one. Some people get second chances. Some people get forgiveness. Catherine Walsh isn't one of them. If you enjoyed this story about cheating and consequences, like this video and leave a comment telling me what you think. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to get alerts about new stories like this one. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.